Hello, one and all present here. This is Amit Kumar Singh. Welcome everyone to my fifth session on Tableau tutorials. So, guys, fifth session, and I believe you are there with me till now. So it means that you are understanding this subject very much. So Tableau altogether is very easy tool altogether where we use our basic knowledge of data analytics to represent the data in the form of visualization pattern. We use tables, we use charts, okay, we use different diagrams or graphs to represent the data. So when it comes to data, you have done in statistics that data can be either primary data or the data can be either secondary data. So different ways are there we can collect primary or secondary data. Once the data is being collected, then we try to organize the data. So for organization of the data, we follow different techniques, either it's a geographical classification or chronological classification or quantitative classification or qualitative classification. So once the data is being classified into different groups or different patterns or maybe different dimensions or different methods, if I talk in the language of statistics, right? So if I'm talking the language of statistics, right? We have certain columns which have numerical values, which we called as the measures, while we have certain columns which have non-numerical values, which we call as dimension. I hope you guys will remember these concepts of dimensions and measures, right? So I think a lot of scenarios are building in your mind. You are visualizing a lot of graph charts, lot of scenarios, lot of involvement must be developing in your mind. Anyway, jokes apart. Now coming back to the Tableau. So when it comes to data, we talked about the collection of the data. We talked about the organization and classification of the data. Then when we talked about analysis of the data, we follow different techniques of analysis, right? We follow measure of central tendency, measure of dispersion, correlation, regression, okay, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis. The different forms are there in which you can analyze the data, right? So once you talk about analysis of the data, once the data is being grouped and classified into different patterns, then the next thing comes in the presentation of the data. So when it comes to the presentation of data, there the tools like Tableau or Power BI come into the picture. Although Tableau is a paid software, you can use Power BI. Power BI altogether is a free software which is developed by Microsoft. Again, depends, but corporate normally follows Tableau more than Power BI. That's why we are here, right? We are here to learn Tableau for that reason only. Otherwise, I might be doing a different session altogether, talking about Power BI. So here we are discussing about Tableau because Tableau altogether is an important tool, and it's although the Tableau is a paid software where if you take a license of the Tableau, you need to pay $70 per month per user. But here there's a catch. Catch is that you can use Tableau desktop by installing the trial version of Tableau, which has a maturity of 14 days, right? So if you go to the Tableau websites, you can probably you can find a lot of versions are there. Okay, so you can just install a particular version. You can use it for 7 days, 14 days, and then gradually you can again install the another version. Again, you go to 14 days, and that way the work will be done. And all the work what you're doing on a Tableau, you know how to save the work, right? So by using Tableau Public, if you have an account in Tableau Public, all the work what you're doing in Tableau Desktop, you can actually save that work in the cloud. Okay, so around 10 GB of the external data will be given to you. Fine. So when we talk about Tableau, Tableau is more of this is a better form of the pivot table and chart what we have in Excel. So much more better refined version of pivot table and pivot chart what we have in Excel, that is mainly a Tableau. So when we work on a Tableau, we work on the data visualization atmosphere, where in the case of Tableau, we can connect with more than 77 plus data sources. Okay, so when we have Tableau, while other tools like Excel and all, max to max, they can connect with 20 data sources. while a Tableau can connect till 77 data sources. So you know about whatever I'm talking about for the last 5 minutes. I believe whatever I'm discussing, more or less, you have a knowledge about them. So whenever we install the Tableau, whichever the version of Tableau we have installed, like I am having 2022.2 version. So every time when you install a Tableau, by default, certain Excel file will come by default being saved, that you can find by going to document, under document, my Tableau repository, and then data source, and then 2022.2, then sample superstore. You can, this is the by default the Excel template which will come with you whenever you install the Tableau. And once you get this data source, you can see this data source. Okay, so what I can do, if you want, you can change this name also. You can put some name for this. Simply you can put this name. And like here, mainly it have three sheets. Already I have spoken about, we have discussed about the order of people returns. So here, more or less, we need to speak about, we need to discuss about order sheet. So the order sheet have around 21 columns, and we'll try to investigate these 21 columns. Okay, one by one, where they have lot of data related to row ID, order ID, or order date or ship mode, customer ID, customer name. You can see that there are around 21 columns are there, and you can see the rows here, like there are 100 rows are there. Actually, around 10,000 rows are there. So 10,000. So probably you can see around 10,000 data is also accepting. So if I actually see the total number of rows, what you have here, if you see the total number of rows, what you have with this. Okay, one minute. You go to documents. Under documents, you go to my Tableau repository. Then you go to data source and 2022.2. And here, if you open this, so if you see the total number of columns, so they have around 10,195 columns. Sorry, rows 10,195, 10,200. You can see showing only 10,000. So you can see here 21 field. 21 field here means column. So there are 21 columns are there and 10,194 rows. Okay, so that is what I was talking about here. All these data, what you can see, you can assemble those data. You can work on those data if you go to sheet one. Okay, under sheet one, if you go and like if you select some, maybe if I choose this subcategory. Okay, and then if I here under dimension, then under measures, if I choose sales, and if I drag it here, so you can see I'll get a vertical columnar, vertical or columnar diagram to understand, to make a relationship of the sales with some category wise. Okay, the same thing you can do in pivot table. So in the last class, I have discussed about the same in my session. I hope guys you have gone through the previous video, right? In the previous video, I have spoken about this, how you can make a comparison between subcategory and sales. So the same I have already discussed, right guys? So we have discussed about how we can arrange this data in ascending order or descending order, right? We even discussed how to present the data either vertically or either horizontally. You can do this, right? So already we have discussed about them. Fine. So if you see that no numerical value is coming, for that you just need to select the slash sales and put under labels. If you select the sales and put under labels, you will get the same thing there. So fine. So ascending order, descending order. So if you want, you can vertical to row to vertical. You can do this. Fine. And this view, you can make it entire view. So it looks much more better. All the analysis is done right. That's why we call Tableau as a business intelligence tool. So imagine if I wanted to analyze like out of this subcategory wise, these all subcategories are there, right? Sales are there. I wanted to know which subcategory has the maximum sales. Okay, so which subcategory has the maximum sales? If I want to analyze, like let me just first, if same thing if I have to do in MS Excel, for example. Maybe I was not aware about what Tableau is all about, and I know the answer is cheer, right? Around 3,35,768. That is the maximum sales what it's having. So if you want to compare the sales with profit, you can just remove profit subcategory wise, and you can drag profit here, and you can analyze. You can see this. You can see which is having the maximum profit. So you can figure it out. Right? So which product is having maximum profit? You can do this. Copier. Although the sales of chair, if you remember here, if you remember here, the sales of the chair was maximum, right? But if you see the profit, right, the profit of chair is not maximum. The profit of copier is maximum. You can see the profit data and sales data. You can see, right? Can you see the profit data and sales data here? Profit data, sales data. So what is the profit of copier and what is the sales of the copier? While if you come to furniture, okay, you can see the profit, you can see the sales. 13,000 if you see furnitures and all. So 35,000 if you see the application chair, 27,000 is the profit, and 3,35,000 is the sales. While if you see copier, 56,094 is the profit, while the sale is 1,50,000. So if you compare the sales wise, maybe the sales of the chair is more than the sales of copier. But if you compare the profit wise, probably the profit of copier is much more better than the profit of the profit of sale, than the profit of chair. So the same thing, if you want, you can analyze in Excel. If you have a data, so let me just make this data look something better. So what I can do, I can zoom in, I can zoom out. If I zoom in, it's little bit better. Then I can put a border. That select Control A, Alt H B T, then Alt H. If I do Alt H B A, all border. Okay, first my data should selected. That's why it's not working. Alt H B T, Alt H B A. So you have put the border. Okay. Now, what I wanted subcategory wise, right? So subcategory wise, if I come here, subcategory wise, then I can put a filter all DFF. So if I put a filter all DFF, if I put a filter here all DFF, so these are my subcategories. And if I want to compare them subcategory with sales and profit here, so subcategory here, let me just copy the data. So now you have this product name. Let me hide this. So control minus will delete that. I want to hide, right. Control 0. Now you can see. Then I can hide this quantity and discount. Okay, so control 0. Now you can see the paper. The sales, the profit. So here if you see sales wise, largest to smallest, so you can see this. Okay, so here now there's a problem because you can see the data is not condensed. Okay, so the data is not condensed. So the best thing if you can do with this data, the best thing what you can do with this data, you can use subtotal. So before you use subtotal, you need to arrange the data ascending order wise, A to Z or Z to A. Now it's much more convenient for you. Here they have came. Okay, so here once this is done, what I can do, I can just select my required data, remove select all. And here you can click on maybe chair or maybe copier. We want to analyze about them, right? So you have different values of chair, and then you have different values of copier. Okay, so if you want, you can do substitute total of this. You can go to data, under data, you can do subtotal if you want. Here, like the all this, I'm just showing you the same thing what you have done in Tableau so easily. So here, what all we need to do. So here's the subtotal wise. So you want to do subtotal, right? I want to do subtotal. How I want to do subtotal subcategory wise. Then some add use function, add subtotal to profit and sales. So so here, if we see like subcategory wise, I have focused on chair. Okay, I have focused on chair. Fine. So there's so much data is there for the chair. You can see. So probably we have so much data on chair, and then I'm focusing on chair or I'm focusing on copier. So I'm just trying to analyze, right? So out of chair and copier, you can see here. I just take on chair and copier in the filter, and I want to analyze like probably which would be the better. So if I compare, click on chair total, and if I click on copier total from here and press OK. So again, you can see here the total wise. Okay, so the total of the chair, the total. Okay, the chair total, and then copier total. So all this is not working properly because there are so many data are there of a chair and copier. The better way whenever you are working with subtotal guys, although the one thing what is being said whenever you are working is that your data should be arranged in ascending order. Okay, so that is the one thing. The other thing what we need to understand here, your data should not be like for each particular data there's so many rows and columns are there. So probably it would make more sense if you use pivot table for this. So you can condense the data in the form table and just go to pivot table. And here, if you click on subcategory, here if you click on subcategory, so under that subcategory, then you can go and click on sales, sum of sales you can see, and then you can click on the sum of profit. You can click on the sum of profits, the sales, discount, yeah, and then profit. And now, if you make a comparison here between sales and profit and all, so it will make more sense for you if you are trying to compare the sales with respect to the profit. You can draw the chart with regard to this. If you are using pivot chart in place of pivot table, if I use pivot table in pivot chart, I would have got the very beautiful diagram of the chart which compare the sum of sales and sum of profit. The same thing you can get here. Like you can see already we have discussed about ascending and descending order or columnar. You can just make a switch here. Okay, from row to column, column to row. Already you have know that. Here you are just comparing subcategory with sub profit wise, and if you want, you can put sales also here. Now you can see. So here the upper graph talking about the subcategory with profit wise, okay, and then you can see the lower graph which talks about subcategory with sales. Okay, so you can see right how much the work becomes easier for you. Okay, now let me just remove the profit from here, and suppose you have subcategory with sales wise. Okay, and suppose if I remove subcategory also from here, and suppose if I just select category here, and these categories I'm just comparing uh, these category sales. If I'm trying to talk about, we have three categories, guys, where we have either furniture, or either we have office suppliers, or we have technology. Okay, and then if I try to compare these categories region wise. If I compare these categories region-wise, I will put region under color, then so you can see different regions are there. You have central, east, south, west, and these are the sales value. So if I'm talking about for furniture, okay, furniture, okay, furniture, probably uh, which has shown the better performance. So you can see the better performance is shown by the region west. Okay, if I talk about technology, which has shown the better performance, you can say the region east. Okay, now if I talk about here, if I'm talking about maybe if I'm talking about that out of all west region, which region is a better region? So you can say that out of all the west region, the material sales is done in the furniture. Okay, so it become very easy for you. So you can compare one variable, just click on that variable, you can see the data for that particular variable, or you can click on two variables by just clicking on a control sign. So if you click on control sign, and then you select the other thing, and then if you click on keep only these two data will remain, like office supplies. Imagine if I wanted the west data and that I'm comparing with the east data. Okay, so office supplies. Okay, so show office supplies. If I say office here, like imagine if I do the same thing in Excel. Office supplies, I wanted west data, vested data sum. Okay, office supplies. So there comes under what? There comes under category, right? There comes under category. Different categories are there. So here, if I just click on office supplies, so you can see office supplies. Category is office supplies, and then uh, west region. And that west region office supplies. Then you have west region. Okay, and then if I ask you what is the sum of the sales, then it is 226, 367. 226, 367. So you can see this. So you can see this. This is 226. If I put a comma to see this, so this is 2,26,366. 2,26,367. Same thing. Okay, so you can see this. With this, you can understand how easy it is to work on Tableau. Yes or no, guys? Easy or not? Now imagine here the same thing I would have got by using some total and all. So if I were to use some total, I would have got the same thing, but altogether that process was very difficult. Like if I have to use here category, category, and then after category you have region. Okay, you have category, you have region, and I want sales for this category. Which category? What is that category? Office supply. Filter here. Okay. So office supply category is office supply. So if I just sort this data, furniture after furniture, you can see there's so many data are there of furniture. So suppose if I write here office supplies, the region was west, right? The region was west. Clear everyone, right? So so here we have already done by using Tableau. Like here I have searched for this office supplies. Office supplies west. Okay, I got the sales value like 226,367. Okay, 2,26,367. So the same thing if I want to do in MS Excel. So I need to write down my category. So my category is office supplies. Region is west. So what is the sale? So here if I use the function sum ifs. Okay, if I use a sum if sum range. So sum range means for you want sum ifs, right? You want to apply the function sum if certain conditions are met. It's a plural. So where the sum range would be the sales figure, right? You want to do the sales. You want to do the sum over the sales figure. So select the data for that. So once the data is being selected, comma, okay, then what criteria range? So what is your criteria range one? So the criteria range one. If you see the category, so under these categories you have office supply. So the criteria range one. So select the data for this. Control shift down arrow, comma. What is the criteria? You have to put the criteria. So the criteria is office supplies, comma. Then criteria range to the region. That is the region. Select all the region, comma. And then what is the criteria two? The criteria two is west. Criteria two is west. Now if you select, now if you just select everything. Now, if you press enter, you will get the answer. So here, what we have done, we have used this function called sum ifs. We have used a function called sum ifs. Sum ifs, it will ask you the sum range. Okay, so here you want to apply the sum, right? Your mathematical function is sum we are using. So this mathematical function sum, you are using with a logical function, which is the if, and multiple ifs you can use together. So multiple conditions under the sum if. So here the sum range. Okay, the sum range would be it can be all the measures, right? Any of the measures. It can be profit, or it can be sales, okay, anything like this. So after the sum range, you need to select the criteria range. Select the criteria range. Criteria range. Certain criteria is there, right? What is the criteria range? What is the range? Criteria range of like altogether all the data, where altogether where data is there, that you need to select in criteria range one. Okay, so they can be multiple, infinite criteria. So one, two, like that. And then what is the criteria? In that criteria range, what is your criteria? Okay, then similarly criteria range two, then what is the criteria? Like that. Multiple sums you can put together. Okay, and when you apply that, you'll get the answer here. Apply that, you'll get the answer here. Now, guys, here if I press enter, I'll get an error. This is the command. Okay, now if I press enter, guys, I'll get an error. You can see I'm getting an error here. Still, it's not complete. Over. So just take care of the brackets. So just take care of the bracket. If I put enter here, is getting error. So if I press F2 and investigate the error, you can see some range I selected till 197, while the criteria range and all I selected till 195. So this is actually 195, not 197. Some dummy sums were given below that uh, row, which does not came with respect to other columns like where the name and other details was given, like office supplies or region. Both are dimensions, right? They are not measures. So sums and other things you cannot use there. So that's why those were clear after 195 rows. Okay. While the column while the column it still they have done some kind of calculation that there is some sales figures, so some summation. Remember, I just now use some total and all before this. So maybe because the impact of this, if you just press enter, you'll get the answer. Clear, everyone? So the you can see how much hard work was required to put in Excel to get the same thing. Okay. Similarly, here if I show you technology west. So the same thing I have to do in Excel. Okay. So here when you use in Excel you uh, use some if then some range will be the data on profit. Sorry, data on sales because we're working on sales. So here you select all the data, just remove this. Till here only you select because this grand total and other things are not relevant here. Then criteria range one, then it is like technology west, technology east, right? Technology east. So you can just select go to criteria and then select criteria, comma, technology, comma, and then you can click on the region, comma, and then click on west, close bracket, enter. So you can see the data, you can compare the same data with the data what we get here. So you can compare the data, okay, and that will make more sense for you. So the region, 1 minute. What is the region? 186. The region was east, right? For this 267, 938. 267, 938. Clear, everyone? So you can understand this, right? So without using a pivot table and all, how much difficult it can be, or you need to know the sum ifs, count ifs, all those functions. So you use filters, filter one by one, you keep pressing filter. Here criteria, you remove the criteria, click on office supply, and then once you click on office supply, then go to region, select on west, And here, if I click on OK, office supplies waste, all data came, and then you need to do the sum of this data. You need to do the sum of this data. You will get the same. So either you do manually like this, or you just go to pivot table, or you go to Tableau. The work will be done very easy. Now just remove it from filter to get the original data. So I believe you understood, like, working on Excel, how much the work becomes so tedious. Okay, same thing if you do in Tableau, the things become much more easier for you. So like you can use commands like you can use command like uh, keep only. You can select the data, and whichever data you want to keep, you just need to select them, and then if you click on keep only, so only that much data will be visible for you. So that advantage you have with Tableau. Then if you want to exclude some data, you just select that data. You select the data and you click on exclude. So you can see the data will be excluded here. You can again put them back with the help of filter. Then what you can do, like if I click on this ligand like West, okay, if I click on this, and then if I click on this, so certain ligand, if you so ligand you just selected. Now you are looking for technology, and technology you have selected East and you have selected West. Okay, then what you can do here. Okay. So we need to understand here. Like, once you get the data, how you can analyze the data. You can actually view your data. You can just select here and click. You can go to keep only exclude, then group member, explain data, then create data, and then here you can see this category, technology, region, some sales figure you get. So if you want, you can download this data, and if you download this data, it will save in CSV format. You can give a name, okay, it will save in CSV format, and then probably it will be much more easier for us when you work on uh, stacked column chart. So if you are working on stacked column chart, so analyzing different parameters altogether, like here we analyzed category with region wise, or you analyze subcategory with the sales wise, all that you can perform analysis there. And here, like you can record the data. Okay, so you can record the data, you can download the data CSV file. You put data will you put there in CSV format. So that is the one way you can see how you can analyze the data. Maybe I'm just looking for technology East data. So technology East data, if I'm looking for in Excel, if I'm doing technology. So here's a category, and here if you click on, so click on different forms here. What are the different forms you have? So like you have technology, and then you have East in that. So if you go to the category here, technology, here you can click on technology category. Then you have technology. So you can see the data. For technology, you wanted to see the east data. So now you can see technology east data. So these are the sales figure. If you add them, you get the technology sales figure. So you just need to add them. You can see this 267 938. You can see 267 938. So only thing is that you have to use filter again and again to get that, or you need to use subtotal, or you need to use some ifs command or count ifs command. Altogether, you can understand to do the same thing in Tableau, which you did in fractions of seconds. In Excel, you can do the same thing, but altogether the process will be a little bit complicated. So I hope you have understood what all we have discussed in this class, where I have tried to compare the Tableau. I tried to compare the Tableau with MS Excel. Okay, and I was trying to show the reason why one can prefer Tableau over the MS Excel. The reason you can gradually understand the region also. Like here, I have compared that the category wise. Okay, the sales and category. If I want, I can compare them subcategory wise instead of category. But only thing there will have too much data, so analyzing them again will become somewhat difficult compared to the previous time. So, anyone, any doubt, any question you have in your mind, please ask me before I'll conclude today's class. So, guys, this much from the today class. It's time for me to conclude this. Here, I discussed about the stacked column chart. I talked about stacked bar chart. I talked about only view data export. Everything we have spoken about. So, in case in case if you have any doubt here, like you just click on view data, and then you can download or on full data. So here if I go, okay, so one just can. So you can do that form analysis either on vertical bar diagram, or you can do an horizontal bar diagram. You can do subdivided, or you can use columnar, or you can use row wise differentiation of the data what you have. Okay, so you can open them. And now, if you had just now you have installed the CSV file in your system. In case if you want to open a CSV file, that you can do under text command. You just click on add button, and you just go and add the button, and you can take care of them. Probably whenever you have a data, probably the working on data will not be difficult for you. Anyone, any question before I conclude today's class? So you know, right? You can work on columnar, or you can work on row wise or column wise. It's very easy for you. Then you can use keep only. You can use keep only, exclude, or publish data, view data. Okay, and then you can download the data. So all that is possible. Probably if you have a better understanding about the concept and how we can draw histogram or pie chart or stack bar diagram, all that understanding, how the understanding is important. That is again something which we need to always look upon. So, guys, it's time to wind up the class. Thank you, everyone. Okay. We'll see you all in next class. Take care. Bye, everyone.